Hey ya folks, Redney here. Welcome to another stream of Aracer's Perspective. Tonight we are going to continue with our exploration of the wreck ships and the wreck system. So to recap, all the Arena Commander modes, including racing, award wreck as a currency reward for how you perform in the various modes. And one of the things that you can buy with that wreck is ships, or you can rent ships, I should say. You can rent ships to use in Arena Commander. You cannot use them in the PU. You cannot use them anywhere but Arena Commander. But it's a great opportunity to try different ships and to see how they fly. I think racing is a great place to earn wreck because you can earn wreck at a rate faster than any other mode. And I think racing is a great place to learn how to fly your ships. The reason for that is the racetrack gives you a lot of points of reference for where your ship is. Gives you a lot of feedback about how well you're controlling your ship. It's feedback that you simply do not get in space. It can be tempting to think that the ships, especially of a particular size or class, fly really similarly to each other when you fly them in the PU, because there's just so much wiggle room in the openness of space to make that turn, wider or to drift in a particular direction and not really experience any consequence. But in racing, you can really see what you're actually accomplishing or not with your vehicle. So without further ado, I race with a Corsair K95 mechanical keyboard and a Logitech G900 mouse. For me personally, I've opted not to invest in additional peripherals beyond mouse and keyboard, simply because I'm not 100% sure what I want to use for Star Citizen yet. I don't want to buy peripherals just for a game that A, isn't even out, and B, like I said, isn't mature enough that I really feel certain what my preferred control scheme would be. So I stick with mouse and keyboard for now. I don't find mouse and keyboard to be restricting in terms of ability, either flying ships or doing anything else. And I think that's worth noting. If I had to try to advise somebody on like what's the absolute best setup for racing, I would tell them to invest in dual joysticks probably. That's something that they wanted to spend their money on, but that's primarily for immersion purposes, and really nothing else. So tonight we'll be doing the Hornet series. We'll start with the F7C Hornet and take it from there. So let's load it up in game. I'm gonna do about 5 test laps with each ship. Maybe a couple more if need be to get a decent lap time. But what I'm trying to do is just see how it flies, see what is unique about each particular ship, both as sort of a group of ships and within the group as well. Okay. This is pretty smooth. I've been initially experiencing more drift than I'd hoped for with a lot of the ships I've been flying in this series. Especially since I typically fly the M50 and I'm just quite spoiled in terms of maneuverability, but okay. Take it all back. Until that turn there, though, I would say this ship was doing quite well at keeping its line. And necessarily, because of the physics simulation going on here, that's primarily how ships are gonna vary between each other. You're going to experience, because of differences in thruster placement and thruster output and the mass of the ship and how all that is simulated, you're pretty much going to notice that some ships are able to turn on certain axes faster or slower. Oh, don't pass out. That they're going to accelerate faster or slower. But it's really remarkable how that makes for quite a variety in how ships feel. So even though that's essentially the driving force between the different fly feel of each ship, each ship still really feels unique. Each fighter I've flown has its own feel to it. So I've always had a soft spot for the Hornet, and I think that part of the reason might be how it flies. It really flies very well for a fighter. Some of the drifting aside, of course. Having trouble with that turn. Ooh. And that's the other thing to get a feel for on the racetrack is what's the ship's footprint that matters. What types of tight spots can it slip through? Where can it not? These things don't matter a whole lot in open space. That's why I don't know that folks notice these things too much in the PU. That's the only place they fly their ships. But when things are tight and you need to pull a risky maneuver, or you're just not paying enough attention and you're about to crash into port ollie, these things make a difference. And ultimately, when we're flying on planets, you can bet they're going to make a difference. Alright, so 46 seconds was the best I could manage in the standard Hornet. So let's see how the Super Hornet does. Now compared to the regular Hornet, you can see it's a little slower. 180 versus 185. 540 versus 555 meters per second. Okay, let's see how this one flies here. So I immediately noticed that the acceleration and deceleration are more sluggish, which makes sense. This is a heftier ship, and it's got lower top speeds also, which gives you an indication that its thruster output might be a little less. That's okay. One of the ways to sort of cheat if you have kind of a drifty or sluggish ship is to use changes in acceleration to give you traction. Whoa, didn't quite work there. But it's just like you might in an automobile. You want to slow down before the turn and accelerate into it. And that can help you make some tighter turns you might not otherwise be able to. Whoa. With 4 fighters, these are pretty nimble ships. Yeah, I am a bit biased, so the Super Hornet is my daily driver in the PU. So I'm comfortable in it. And a bit partial too. Yeah, I just like the way this thing feels, and that might be because I'm more practiced. It could just be more comfortable. But I'm really enjoying flying this ship. And it's a nice turn after being a little disappointed in how some of the 300 series flew. Which is, it's surprising. You'd think that Origin would probably have better flying ships than Anvil. Yeah, I'm getting comfortable with this one. Okay, I'm gonna restrain myself. I really want to fly a few more laps, but I won't. And they got down to 44, which is, that's always interesting to me. That's probably practice, but this is a slower ship, and yet my fastest lap was a little faster. I'm gonna cut that down to practice. I don't think it really accelerated or decelerated better than the regular F7C, so I think that faster time is almost entirely down to just feeling at home. Okay, let's try the Ghost. So we're back up to 185 and 555 for acceleration. Not acceleration, sorry, top speed. SCM is 185. Top afterburn is 555. I do like how this ship looks. Oh, I've had a crash. Bear with me, folks. I wish these images on the RSI site, which are so old now, I wish they did the Hornet series credit. I guess if I'd thought about it a little sooner, I might have wanted to take screenshots in the verse, because these ships just, they look better in person than you see on the site right now. There's something buggy about the single player race mode, because I rarely experience crashes, and I've actually been experiencing a crash pretty much nightly. Not always on the stream, sometimes just before the stream starts, but accessing this mode, there seems to be a bug. The Ghost feels a little bit slippery compared to the other ships, and I haven't quite figured out why yet. Ooh. It's possible that we're talking about differences in primary versus secondary thrusters, and that may actually be a potential reason why the Super Hornet may perform better, besides practice. It did just feel good, and I like maneuverability over speed any day. I have to wonder, are the secondary thrusters either more prevalent or stronger on Super Hornet? I don't know. That may have just been an initial sort of getting to know you lap with the Ghost. It's feeling a lot more precise now. So I don't really know what it is, but there must be some difference between it and the Super Hornet that was making it just throw me off a bit. This is quite pleasant now. Oh, that's not good. Ooh, that was a fun turn. Oh, until then. Oh, yeah, you gotta watch the wingspan in these things. It's no in 50. You know, that might be the single most valuable thing. Oh, yeah, it was so slight improvement lap time. That might be the single most valuable thing about flying the different ships. Once you get to be a pretty good pilot, you can adjust for drift and differences in acceleration, mass on the fly somewhat. But learning a ship's footprint, especially in the bigger ships, you can't really do that very easily or at least as quickly outside of racing. I really recommend it. And that's why I would say that really racing Caterpillars, Starfares, things like that, that's a really good idea if you want to not crash the darn things. Okay, so we're doing the tracker now. And the tracker has a little speed boost. 190 and 600 versus sort of the typical 185 and 555. So we'll see if this lives up to being a speedster. It's doing a pretty good job at the moment. Ooh! I'm having fun in these ships. Yeah, this is a fun one. And I know this isn't a fighter. It's I guess it's like a tracker or recon type ship. So it makes sense that it would be a little bit more maneuverable, but this thing just flies great. I'll be surprised if this isn't gonna be the fastest ship for me. I do my best not to look at my race time while I'm racing, because that just means that I'll crash. So I gotta wait to the end to see how I'm actually doing here, but it feels good. Oh, that's a little slippery. Oh, gotta remember that wing. After Gamescom happening today, I'll be curious to see if that brings More players to the public matches or fewer? We shall see. Alright, how do we do? Yeah, 42 seconds. Yeah, not bad. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and race the tracker then. So let's check out AC, see if we can find any races. Something happened. And just gonna throw up the tracker again. That's gonna be my ship for the evening. Don't know if anyone's gonna show up here. It's hard to stream racing in Star Citizen when no one is racing in Star Citizen, I gotta say. But that's okay, we're just here to have fun. If you're just joining us, we've been doing the Hornet tonight. Tried out the base model, the Ghost, the Tracker, and the Super Hornet. We've been putting those on the track. Those are all rentable with REC, which is a currency earned in Arena Commander. You can spend it on the RSI website in their store under electronic access. It doesn't cost you a dime. You get to try different ships. You can become a better pilot, a much more versatile pilot, and just have fun trying out different ships. It's also a good time to check them out in free flight, where you can get in and out of the ship and just kind of enjoy the eye candy. Doing my best to be patient here. I want to wait at least a minute or two before giving up. But if we have to, hey, it's Friday, maybe leave work a little early tonight. A few nights back, I didn't have anybody racing, and I showed folks how I was doing, how I was racing OV in the M50, and I do plan on doing that for the other two tracks as an instructional, but I don't want to do it tonight. I wanna make those their own streams. So I'm gonna give it another minute or two. Hope that someone comes online, and if they don't, we'll call it a night. Oh, that's sad. When they kick you off the server because you've been waiting too long. Well, I'll try one more time. If you're watching the stream, hey, why don't you join me in Arena Commander so we can do some races? It's pretty quiet tonight. So one thing OV cannot test very well for most of the ships is fuel. So if I'm able to get into this race on Defradier, that'll be an interesting test of the tracker's fuel capacity. Anyone watch the Gamescom presentation tonight? You guys have any thoughts? Well, I might try multiplayer a bit later, but I'm curious now. I'll try a single player of Deford and the tracker. I want to check out the fuel management. Doesn't look like I'm gonna find anyone online tonight, unfortunately. So again, I'm flying the Hornet tracker. Tonight was the Hornet series portion of our Rec series, demonstrating the various ships you can rent via the Rec system in Arena Commander. quite make it. That's okay. Ooh. Oh, jeez. Well, at least we didn't blow up. Oh, come on. That was just some bad flying on my part. So it looks like I'm gonna make it around the track without running out of fuel, and I haven't necessarily been doing all that amazing at fuel management. I never do. So this ship seems to have pretty good afterburn fuel capacity. Which makes me like it even more. So I don't have to worry so much about deferred in this thing. I'll do the standard 3 laps. We'll see what kind of top time I can muster. Oh. Trying to cut corners too tight here. Oh man. Yeah, you're not going to beat a lot of M50s in this ship, but I like this ship, the way it flies. There's just enough fuel in the ship that I don't have to worry too much about running out. And that feels damn good. That's a new experience for me. I have to be so careful in the M50. I'd go over. A little tighter on the boost fuel this time around. If you abuse it, you can clearly overuse it here. And about 720 and 223. Not terrible. Alright. So I will try one more time. One more time to get a multiplayer match here. I just really want to race somebody with this thing. What do you know? Haha! Alright. Here we go. Looks like Defford. It's good. Just had a chance to warm up. See if I can beat that 223 time. And I don't know what my competition is flying. And they blew up. Whatever they're flying, it blew up. If I trusted this thing a little bit more during that short straight, I would have gotten up to top speed, but I just I want to make sure that I'm going the speed I want to be at when it's time to corner. So I'm sacrificing some time for it. Gotta avoid crashes at all costs. So naturally I crash seconds later. That's typical. Oh jeez. I gotta stop hitting my wings. Or my top. And every time I do that, I'm still using boost fuel. So I might run out this time. .246, that is not so good. Alright, I gotta try to do better here. What that was? You know what? It worked out. At least I made it through one more ring before I crashed. That's the one thing about Hornets. They are sturdy ships. I really appreciate that when I'm flying my Super Hornet around the burst. Oh, okay. He's in a Merlin. Now that's not a bad ship, except if I recall, and I haven't flown it for the Rec series yet, so it's been a while. But as I recall, it's boost fuel. It's fuel for afterburner is not. It's not a lot. So he's probably really struggling to keep fuel around the track. In fact, I'd wager they're running out every lap and having to coast. Oh, what did I hit? I don't know. Oh, I'm out. Darn it. Well, I guess I gotta be a bit more careful. Whoa, 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 whoa. Alright. Back on track. Well, it's been fun trying out Defford with this ship, but I do hope that the next track is something different. Oh, and I'm out again. Just getting a little too greedy with that fuel. Ooh. So significantly worse than I was doing in the private. In single player. Not my best showing. Yeah, so I think um, Kamikaze Daz is running out of fuel pretty early in the lap, so he's got to take a while to get around the track. Hopefully he'll stick around for one more race. Toolba and OV, perfect.
Proximity alert.
Hey, 3Fox. Okay, great. 3Fox races a lot. He's one of the better racers you'll find on the leaderboards. I always am glad to see him. He plays a lot, so you get to know him. I'm gonna guess either 3Fox got off to a bad start, or he's also racing a slower ship. Because otherwise it wouldn't be like him to be behind at this point. He should probably be beating me. Really depends on what he's racing though. But just adds a nice energy to the race, knowing he's in it. I know I gotta try to bring some decent game to this oh. So I decelerated way too soon. I lost a wing. Luckily that's not really simulated yet, so I'm not really gonna have a harder time flying. But I think I can actually hear the fact that the wing is broken, which isn't something I've experienced before. If that's true and not my imagination, that's pretty cool. I wish I would have caught what he was racing. Alright, well, we'll wrap things up with that. Thanks for tuning in. This has been a racer's perspective, so we stream some sort of Star Citizen racing content every weeknight at 2200 Pacific Standard Time. That's 10 p.m. To 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Visit us at aracer'sperspective.com. You can find links to all our other platforms there, including this Twitch channel, YouTube, our Spectrum thread and Discord. Um, Feel free to join any. If you have any suggestions for the stream, please don't be shy about writing in. We really do appreciate your feedback. Positive, negative, constructive, critical, any type of feedback is great. In particular with this stream, this is my first week streaming. I'm exceptionally inexperienced. I don't know what I'm doing in so many ways. I do have my own ideas for how to improve, how to grow the stream, how to vary the content, make it a bit more interesting. But I'd love to hear yours as well. There are many ways to contact us. You can contact me directly through Spectrum at Sredny. You can contact me through the Discord. You can email the magazine. All that stuff, though, you can access through the website. And we are primarily a e-magazine. The stream is a side gig, so do check out our first issue of Aracer's Perspective if you haven't already. Our second issue comes out at the first half of this next month, so look out for that. All right, take care now. Have a good night.